Hi bass players, Tatiana is here. I got a request from some subscribers to make a video about modes. Now I will say something controversial and you might disagree with me. Stop spending hours on modes. You don't need them. When I was a student at a jazz college, all of us bass students learned modes in music. I believe that many bass students around the world do the same. In this video, I plan to try to convince you that you don't need modes. After that, if you are not convinced, I'll show you a good way to learn and play them. Now I will explain shortly what I'm talking about and then I will tell you what's wrong with it. I will play all modes in the C major scale. This is actually just a regular C major scale, starting from different notes one by one. This is the Ionian mode or natural major. This is the Dorian mode, or minor with +6. This is a Phrygian mode, or minor with -2. This is the Lydian mode, or major with +4. This is the Mixolydian mode, or major with -7. I can start it with this G or with this G. This is the Aeolian mode, or natural minor. This is the Locrian mode, or minor with -2 and -5. As you see, modes are the modifications of major and minor scales. They were named after the antique moduses that were used in ancient Greece. The historical problem there is that the modes were recreated in the Middle Ages, several centuries after antique people played their music. The ancient Greek music wasn't notated nor recorded, and we don't know what it sounded like. So, in fact, modes were just made up. People spent many hours learning modes in different positions and trying not to mix up their names. Shall I play E Phrygian mode starting from a third in a major scale? Or shall I play it as a minor with -2? How do you play Locrian from a random note, let's say something like G sharp, and what if I forgot it's on the 7th step of a major scale? Scary and confusing. In fact, I've been playing the bass for many years and only one time I needed a little bit of knowledge of only one mode. It was a jazz piece, so what? It's based on 2 chords only, which are D minor and E flat minor, and the improvisation is played in the Dorian mode. If I hadn't learned the modes before, I would ask Google what the Dorian mode was and just play the minor scale with +6 all the way through with no stress. Did I need to learn all the modes for that? I never needed to figure out any of these modes fast from a random note in practice. There is actually one more way how modes can be connected to reality. The Mixolydian mode is a major scale with -7. This is the C major scale. And this is the Mixolydian C major scale with -7. This is 7, this is -7. We also call -7 the dominant 7, and we use it a lot in rock and blues. I'm pretty sure that calling it a Mixolydian mode doesn't help much, does it? It's just a dominant 7, and according to the rule of Occam's razor, explanations need to be constructed with the smallest possible set of elements, and we don't need to breed entities for the same thing. So, in practice, you might encounter modes once in many years, or you might never need them at all. Now, if for some reason you still want to learn and play modes, or maybe your teacher wants you to do this, I will show you the best way how to learn and play them. Theoretically, you can remember that different modes start on different steps of one major scale and you need just to learn a major scale. For example, you need to play the G Lydian mode. The Lydian mode starts on the fourth of a major scale, so you can count down the notes. Now you figure out that it's the D major scale and you just start playing this scale from G. However, this is not the best way and I wouldn't recommend you do this for 3 reasons. First, you will eventually tend to lose the tonic. In the D major scale, it's D. And you will tend to come to it instead of G, which you actually need for the G Lydian mode. Even if you don't lose the tonic, in the standard position for the D major scale, you don't have many notes up from G, and if you want to go higher, even just 1 octave higher from this G to another G, which is here, you need to find out all the connecting notes from the D major scale without the position of the D major scale. So I'm starting from G. What's after that? If I want to come up, I need to figure out all these notes. And last, it becomes too much of calculating when you need to figure out some modes from particular notes. For example, C Phrygian mode, which you need to find out that it's a G sharp major scale. Or if you need to play D flat Lydian mode or whatever, it's just very easy to get confused. If you want to play them, I would recommend that you memorize the characteristics of each particular mode separately. For example, in my case for the G Lydian mode, I remember that the Lydian mode is major with +4. So I can just play the major scale, count up to 4 and lift the semitone up. 1, 2, 3, normally this is 4. I will play it here for the Lydian mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. I am not losing the tonic. I can play the whole octave from G to G and even a bit higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, high 4 and 5. Without changing positions too much, I'm starting with my finger number 2 here and I got it. So I can play loads of Lydian modes from every note on the fretboard without thinking much. This is for bass playing. In most cases, you just don't need modes. However, if you are up to composition, then it's different. You need to accept as much of music theory as possible, because there you can find tools for your creativity. As a composer, you don't only learn how these modes are made, you need to feel them, to experiment with them, to mix and vary them. You need to create your own modes sometimes for expressive and maybe exotic sounds. But composers are weird, aren't they? So, as a bass player, you might want to spend your time on something more relevant to real-life practice. But if you want to compose, then learn modes, you need them. Press that like button if you like this truth-speaking video, subscribe for more bass content, play something hot and groovy, and I will see you next time.